So actually, the way that we are showing animals through media has huge consequences, and research shows this. What is quite encouraging is that the IUCN have a primate specialist group, and they have recently just launched a new publication, which is guidelines on selfies and photographs with non-human primates. What I found quite discouraging is that there was a series of conferences, quite high-profile conferences in the last few weeks, which I'm sure many anthrozoologists have been attending, where there were many primate photos shown by researchers, academics, scholars, very high-profile scientists that didn't abide by these new guidelines. And actually, you don't know who is in the audience. You don't know who is going to think, oh, these animals could make a really good pet, or I really, really want a photograph of me with my study participants, so I'm going to put all these selfies out with these cute animals. And you put things on Facebook, they find themselves out of your Facebook and onto the internet, and you are inadvertently promoting this trade. So it's kind of a double-edged blade at the moment. You've got this really good amount of research that is promoting better practice, but then you also have really well-established academics not using that. So I think we all need to improve our standards a little bit, and I think it starts with the ethics review process.
Interestingly, though, I mean, we're talking about touching animals and people possibly then touching animals that they shouldn't. But my research is actually trying to see if people's perceptions of sharks will change if they look at the shark human interactions. The shark listener shark interactions, which are very intimate. So these shark listeners are touching the sharks. A couple of them actually kiss the sharks once they remove the hook. So I'm deliberately showing that. And it makes me, it does make me think, and obviously I have to consider how people are going. Will this put people in harm's way? Will it put sharks in harm's way? To be quite honest, it's very interesting, because the sharks that I'm going to look at are non-captive sharks, but does this mean that people might, when they find a shark that might be stranded, start taking a picture of them being kissed? Or
well, this is another thing that has happened, where beached dolphins have actually died because masses of people have wanted selfies with it. And so they've been passing around these suffocating dolphins rather than simply placing them back in the water. So I think we do have a duty of care with how we approach the research. But what I find really interesting about your research, Sarah, is that you are trying to tackle almost the opposite stereotype. So sharks are obviously stereotyped in a way that kind of vilifies them and makes them, retribution killings of sharks is going to be more commonplace than retribution killings of kittens. So I think there is an element of what are you trying to tackle? But yeah, I mean, you are right that you are going to have to think about that quite carefully with how far are you going to go down that scale of making these animals more approachable.
And I think that's one really interesting